Be cool, be kind, be classy. A cupcake so sweet and sexy. Have fun and enjoy the journey. Just have a good attorney. No big whoop, no biggie. She lives near New York City. Not just a YouTube show. When you know, you better grab a straw. Learn about the law. It's cool here in the shade, sipping motions and lemonade. Cool heads will prevail, kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Oh, Melanie Little is going live. Oh no, where is Melanie? Follow the island's melody. Is a concert within reach. No surprise, she's at Jones Beach. She heard some music far away. Captain Jack's at Harbor Bay. He sings and his piano plays. Not all sounds are waterways. Speaking Yiddish and Latin, it's not just for Manhattan. It's for Goethe and Meshegas. Ridiculousness that insanus. Oy vey, Marcus. Proceed, that's for schmucks. Be cool, be kind, be classy. My cupcakes are sweet and sassy. And not just a YouTube show. When you know, cool heads will prevail. Kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Melanie Little is going live.
What's up, cupcakes? What's up, cupcakes? Hi. Today is what's today? Thursday, November 13th, 2025. What is up? Just noticing that my camera is totally crooked. So if you look behind me and my pictures look like they're crooked, it's not my pictures, it's my camera. So I traveled with my equipment and then I put it back together and the screw must be a little off. So it's not you, it's me. I got today's going to be like choose your own adventure. It's going to be like a choose your own adventure stream because I got nothing. I think I maxed out on my prep yesterday for yesterday's show. It took me so long to prep that show that today I was just so lazy. I was like, I got nothing. I got nothing to prep. I got nothing to talk to you about. A couple things popped up today. The competency hearing on Brian Walsh is going to be tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So I have that set up. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. I also thought that some documents would drop today for Brian Walsh, being that the competency hearing is tomorrow. So we would talk about that. But no, we're not talking about it because we got nothing. Go Patriots. Are the Patriots playing tonight? Okay. All right. So we got that. I got a screw loose. I got that going for me. That's right. That's right, Rosemary. You got it. There's always something to talk about, right? Like the Golden Bachelor. Okay, did anybody watch The Golden Bachelor? I'm pissed. We've been trying to talk about The Golden Bachelor all season. I don't know how many of you actually did watch it with me. Oh yeah, Patriots versus Jets at 8. All right, well, I think we'll be done by then. It's 5:49. 5:49. Brady will file papers for Kelsey. I got that. That's about a 2-second conversation. So that's something. All right, you guys did watch the Golden Bachelor? Okay, good. We could talk about that in a little bit. So hang on. If you didn't watch it, hurry up and go watch it now and then come back for the end. We'll talk about it at the end. So we got that. Karen Reed's foreperson just did an interview today at a college. He was interviewed at a place called, I think, Fisher College. And I got something on that because literally this piece from Channel 5 just only has 27 views. So we are right on top of it. Yeah, the Walsh hearing is tomorrow at 9 a.m. As I said, we're going to cover that. It's the competency hearing. I know. Why did Cindy leave? You know what? I think Cindy was better off leaving, but save your questions for later because we'll talk about that later. Right? I think Mel's a doofus. I think there was nothing attractive about him at all. So I didn't even think Peg should be with him. I think Peg's going to get tired of him real fast. What do you think? Free Kelsey. Free Kelsey. All right. That's okay. That's all right if you're late. If you're late, we're covering. Brian Walsh is already set up for the morning. You don't even have to do a thing because I'm going to teleport you to the morning stream when we're done here. So you can just get teleported right over and hit the remind button. And it's scheduled for 9 a.m. So I'm coming on at 8:45 with you so we can, hang out for a little bit before it starts. Right, Boston Wild. Good. All right. Keep your thoughts about Mel Owens, the Golden Bachelor, for now, and we'll talk about him in a little bit. What was the other thing I wanted to talk to you about? Oh, there was an article that came out in New York Magazine. I don't know if anybody saw it, about Martha Nolan, the Irish national, who was found deceased on that at the yacht club and that boat in Montauk. I don't know if anybody free peg. Mel is cringe, says Catherine. Oh my God. Yes, he's so cringe. So there's a New York Magazine article about Martha Nolan, who is the lovely, beautiful Irish girl who was found deceased on the Deadheads boat out in Montauk. There's a new article, not a lot of new information, but the New York Magazine reporter did a bit of a deep dive into it and talked to some people. So there's a little information there. They said there's white powder, but they also said that the white powder was from fingerprinting. So there's really nothing there yet. And the toxicology has not come back on her yet. So there's really not a whole lot there. Found out also to the Alexander brothers will stand trial. Praise be. If you haven't been following the Alexander brothers with me, that's a disgusting case about two really rich guys, the Alexander brothers, who raped at least 60 women, teleporting them all over the country from Miami to New York to the Hamptons to everywhere. And their motion to dismiss did not succeed. And so they will stand trial. That's scheduled for January of 2026. Oren and Tal Alexander. And they just thought they were going to buy their way out of trouble, but they're sitting in Club Fed in New York. Same jail where Diddy is. Or Diddy was. Diddy was. Diddy, didn't he? Diddy did, actually. And Diddy's been drinking toilet hooch. And so they just extended Diddy's sentence today. He's going to stay there a little bit longer because of the dirty deeds that he's been doing wherever he was transferred to, including the alleged toilet hooch. He's stooping down to the Sarah Boone level with the toilet hooch. Also, did anybody see the article in Vogue about, is having a boyfriend embarrassing now? One of my daughters brought that to my attention, and she is loving this article, and I thought it was such a great article. I thought it was such a great article for our daughters because it's like all of a sudden, my girls, and I have 3 girls that are teenagers who are teenagers. It's always been about having a boyfriend. All their friends always have boyfriends, and they have boyfriends and boyfriend after boyfriend after boyfriend. And it's such a great article because it really is like a kind of a shift to like more independent girls not needing a boyfriend, and now having a boyfriend might be embarrassing. So yes. Never leave your key. Never leave. This is what I tell my girls. Never leave the key to your happiness in someone else's pocket. Ever. And I love it. Do you love it? I love that article too, right? So maybe we should read that, Allie. I think we should read that because we're not always here just to talk about true crime and legal stuff. We're here to talk about life, the lessons we can pass down to our kids and our daughters and make them stronger women and hopefully prevent them from, going through all the heartache and mistakes that we made, right? Where's somebody who taught me that? When I was a teenager. Yes, we get to live our lives like main characters too, says Lauren. I don't know. Am I glitching? If you're glitching, go out and come back in. It could be me, but I'm on Ethernet, so it shouldn't be me. So sometimes if you have a YouTube issue, just go back out and come back in. Okay? So try that, Megan. I love that more than 6'7". Wait a second. House of Winter says, wow, now I want to read the article. It is embarrassing. I barely wear my wedding ring because it's not important. I mean, don't you think that people should just be together because they want to be, not because they have to be? Because trust me when I tell you that getting out of a marriage is so much harder than getting into it. Nobody tells you that. Mama tried. It's another Grateful Dead song. Didn't listen, says Boston Wild. And so that's interesting. Look at that. Nurse X says, my well-educated, drop-dead, gorgeous daughter and friends find men intolerable and uninteresting now. It's an episode. A good one. Oh. Oh, boy. It's one of those days. It's one of those days where the assholes are here already. Bye-bye. Toodaloo. Toodaloo. Do we have mods here today? This was kind of a last minute add-on, so I don't know. We might be light on mods right now. I don't see any actually. Well, you know what? It's like we're living on the edge. We're living on the edge. Yeah, he said, don't glitch too much. Your filter might fall off. Oh, that was so funny. You're so funny, asshole. You're so funny. It does. They all bring out the trolls. They bring out the trolls. The trolls are always here because they don't like what I have to say because their friends are going to jail real soon. Not just their friends, but them as well, because they are who we think they are, and we know who they are because they have a million names, but they're going to be going to jail soon. So listen, you want to come on, talk about how ugly you think I am? Come on. I welcome you. I welcome you. You won't be able to use YouTube when you're in jail, so that's good. So there's that. Are they ever going to be arrested? Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Listen, you know what's going to be. You know what's going to be in Proctor's phone? Everything, everything. And if Proctor's phone extraction doesn't burn the whole house down, you know who will? Lindsay Gattani. Lindsay Gattani will. She'll blow the whole house down and burn the whole house down, and they're burning down the house, and it is all going to be very, very exciting for us, but very upsetting for them. Because I don't know how they're going to look in silver bracelets. No, they have nothing better to do. They have nothing better to do. She came in like a wrecking ball. She came in like a Gattuni. Ms. Gattuni is going to tell them everything. She came in like a wrecking ball. I know. It's crazy. I know. It's funny too, right? Because that's all they do have to talk about. Me and Olivia both were the targets this week. And I'm pretty sure that in their family Discord, they send out marching orders like, okay, go attack Melanie, go attack Olivia. Because if anybody starts listening to us, they know that they're going to jail. But it doesn't matter because they're going to jail anyway. So no big whip, no biggie. They're going to jail. Thank you very much to Karen, who just sent me a document on Kelsey. However, this is an old document. This is the temporary orders, and when we went over this a long time ago. That's from October 27th of 2025. But what we're going to look at right now is what Bradel filed today. And what Bradel filed today is he wants to expedite the hearing of Kelsey's appeal by the full panel SJC. And by doing that, he's waiving Rule 19, which means he doesn't even want to submit a reply brief, that he just wants them to decide it on the papers quickly. So let's take a look at that. It's a really fast, quick conversation, but Bradel did tweet about it today, so I will read it to you and explain it to you in case you didn't see it and or didn't understand it and or do not wade on the cesspool of Twitter. And I highly recommend that you don't, because if you don't, you're going to be a much happier person. This is really ugly out there. Really ugly, really vile. And, you know, it's just sad, lonely people that hang around there and just be mean to each other. I don't understand it. I don't understand the whole concept of the whole damn thing. All right, so let's take a look at Bradel's filing from today. Here it is on Kelsey Fitzsimmons. And this is appellant's motion to waive Rule 19A3, which we will look at as soon as we're done reading this. Now comes appellant Ms. Kelsey Fitzsimmons, and hereby requests to waive Rule 19A3 and rely solely on the brief submitted on November 10th of 2025. We read that brief together. It's about 38 pages. If you didn't hear it, go back and watch that show. It's the last one that I did on Kelsey, which I think has her picture on the thumbnail. All the days are jumbled together, so I forget which day that was. Appellant further requests that the date of December 3rd, 2025 for papers to be submitted for the court's consideration should be advanced to November 21 of 2025. Okay, so yesterday we read what the SJC had decided on, and they decided that Bradle's brief had been accepted and that on December 3rd, they were going to consider the briefs and there was not going to be oral argument. And so what Bradle's asking, he's saying, listen, I don't need you to extend the time for me to reply because the Commonwealth's briefs are due on the 20th. I want you to push this from December 3rd up to November 21st because I don't need to reply. And so he wants Kelsey home for Thanksgiving, right? Thanksgiving is, if they rule on it immediately. Let me just check the date of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is the 27th. So that would give them 6 days to decide it and hopefully get an answer out. As grounds, appellant does not require any further briefing and waives Rule 19A3 as above in light of her incarceration and desire for the speediest possible resolution. Wherefore, appellant requests to advance the date for papers to be submitted for the court's consideration to November 21st, 2025. XOXO, Tim Bradle. And he's referring to this appellate rule, which I will show you. There's a second page to this, but I think it's just a signature page. Hang on. It is. It's just a signature page and a certificate of service that he served it on the other side, which is something that you are required to do whenever you file any sort of papers. And let us take a look here at appellate rule 19. Appellate Procedure Rule 19, filing and serving of briefs, appendices, and certain motions. And he was referring to 19C3, which is wait, 19C3, or was it 19? No, I just lost it. Hang on. Oh, please. Hi, Gigi. I'll read your super chat in a second. Hang on. I just lost my place here. All right, appellate rule 19A3. Okay, so 19A3 says time for serving and filing briefs and appendices in all cases except cross appeals. And it says, it reads as follows, except as been provided in Rule 19C, first degree murder appeals, Rule 11G4, direct appellate review, and Rule 27(1)F. The following briefs and appendices shall be due as stated below. And Section 3 says, it refers to a reply brief. And it says, except by leave of court, any reply brief but must be served and filed by the earlier of A, 14 days after service of the brief of the appellee, or in the case of multiple appellees, service of the last appellee brief, or 7 days before argument. And so that would bump it out, right? And that's why the court bumped it out 14 days from November 20th. And Bradle's saying, listen, I want to waive that. And I would just want you to quickly rule on this so that Kelsey can be home for Thanksgiving. Because in my opinion, this is going to be a very successful appeal. So everyone put some prayer hands up in the chat for Kelsey, because what's happening to her is a travesty. We're outraged by it. You're outraged by it too. I know you are. And hopefully she'll get out of there. Oh, toilet hooch is booze that they make in prison, and they use the toilet to make it, and they put some fruit in there and some other stuff, and that's hooch is like booze. And so if you're in prison, you don't have a lot of options, and so they make their booze in the toilet. It's gross, it's disgusting, but that's what they do. Remember Sarah Boone, she did it too. Hubert says, I miss you, Attorney Cupcake, having medical procedures done. Oh, everyone prayers up for Hubert too. Hope you and your family are well. Canton has more from the Twilight Zone to alternate universe. Yeah. I feel that way too. Love you. Thanks for coming in. Gigi gifted 10 memberships. Holy crap. Thanks, Gigi. You're amazing. On top, came in here with 2 super stickers. Thank you, On top. And if you were gifted a membership by Gigi, be sure to thank her. Her official name is the most blessed Gigi on earth, and she is. She has blessed you with 10 memberships. Tubbs House says, likelihood we get to see all of Proctor's emails and texts. Well, right now I believe there's a protective order by Judge Krupp, but it's not the same as the federal protective order. So eventually, I think we're going to find them. Hold on. So there's that. They'll be eventually. We'll see them. I mean, look, Lindsay Gattani's entire phone extraction is out there. So Proctor's will be out there at some point as well. Most blessed Gigi on earth with a 20 says, seriously, anyone? Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Stay lovely, kind, and beautiful. Jealousy is what feeds these animals. Oh, if they do have mirrors, they can see themselves anyway. Well, they don't post pictures of themselves, and they actually never come on camera. There are actually some YouTubers who never come on camera. It's just their voice. And you know exactly who I'm talking about. Because one of them was found next to John O'Keefe's body. That's the last name of the person I'm talking about. She never shows her face on camera. Thank you, Gigi, for your 20. And Mom says, they always love watching and listening to your opinions and knowledge of these cases. Thank you. And thank you also for your super sticker and for being here for 11 months. And I'm glad we're able to sort out your hidden, you being hidden on the tubes of you. And leave the drama at the door, says Melanie After Dark. The best ever. Best ever. Thanks. I'm still in loungewear. I got like a tie-dye on. I'm like the vice president of the We Do Not Care Club. If our friend, the other Melanie with an I at the end, is the president of the We Do Not Care Club, I will be the vice president. I'm allowed. I have heard from Nurse Kim. I did. I texted her the other day. She's fine. Has she not been on the air? I have no time to watch anybody else's show, so I have no idea what anybody else is doing, but I have proof of life on Nurse Kim, if that's what you're asking. It's good. It's good to be on in the evening, right? Excellent question. Where's my stapler? Says, does the SJC have to wait for the Commonwealth to file their brief before they can rule? Yes. So their brief is due on the 20th. Tim Bradle filed that motion today saying, I don't need to file a reply. Please hear this or rule on it or consider it on the 21st. But yes, they do have to wait for the Commonwealth to reply. And so there's that. Or did they? And I missed it. They have not replied yet. It's due on the 20th. It's due on the 20th. Dickless Tracy. Did you see an email on Ashley Benefield update from me? Yeah, I think you said that they have an extension to file their appeal. Right? So there's no appellate papers to read yet on Ashley Benefield. But I don't think that's the email address that you emailed me from. Let me see if I can see. The direct appeal was due again today, but they filed a request for an enlargement. They wanted more than 13,000 words. Request denied. Now it's due December 1st. Okay, great. If you see the briefs come in, feel free to email them to me since you have my email address. You know exactly how to reach me, Dickless Tracy. Thank you. Very collaborative. You guys send me things you want to cover, and then we cover them. Leave the drama at the door. Gifted 5 memberships also. You guys are crazy nice. All right, let's take a look at the 4-person, the Foreman. Oh man, remember the baby AI video of the Foreman from Karen Reed's trial number 2? He was at Fisher College today doing a Q&A, and WCVB has some video. Let's take a listen to this.
That's where Newsletter 5's David Bienick is live tonight. David, good evening.
Ben, good evening to you. Yes, the former jury foreman says he is currently working on a book about his life and his experience on the Reed trial. He says he's currently in the...
Okay, he's writing a book. The juror is writing a book. The jury foreman for the Karen Reed trial is writing a book. Are you surprised? This is interesting. And it's also interesting that the sirens are going off, because that is like just reminiscent of the Karen Reed trial, with the sirens going off every time somebody was on the stand. Okay, hang on. Good for him.
process of shopping that book around. At this question and answer event at Fisher College, Charlie DeLoach says no one was more surprised than he was when he was chosen to sit on the Karen Reed jury.
You knew a little bit about the case going in, but you kind of played dumb because you didn't want to get picked. And did that serve you, or did that serve the prosecution and defense?
Charlie DeLoach is his name. He's shopping his book around. Call me, Charlie. Call me. He played dumb because he did not want to serve on the jury. Huh. That's interesting. Hold on a second. The subtitles are really weird. The whole paragraph of subtitles. Hold on.
Bit about the case going in, but you kind of played dumb because you didn't want to get picked. And did that serve you, or did that serve the prosecution and defense?
It backfired on me because I was the first one picked.
DeLoach described growing up in Boston public housing during the 80s and 90s and says he was often stopped and harassed by police.
In the height of like the Charles Stewart case, it was scary because they was targeting black men.
DeLoach told students he found the prosecution's case against Reed fishy as soon as the first witness took the stand, an EMT who couldn't remember if John O'Keefe was found with a coat on.
I didn't take one note. I didn't have to after the first witness.
Wow, this was the juror who took no notes. Remember, there was one juror who took no notes, and everybody was so nervous that there was a juror who took no notes and thought, oh, well, he must not care. He must not be paying attention. He knows corruption. Exactly. He was the first juror picked. He became the foreperson. And he knows what it's like to be targeted by cops. So he was the best pick, in my opinion, for the Reed defense team. Let's take that back 1 second.
As soon as the first witness took the stand, an EMT who couldn't remember if John O'Keefe was found with a coat on.
I didn't take one note. I didn't have to after the first witness. It was just like, oh, okay. I see where this is going.
Oh my God. Oh my God. And remember, Hank Brennan thought that Timothy Nuttall was the key witness. He was the star to his story. Remember Brennan's opening and how he talked about Nuttall hearing the call of the siren and the call of the bell, and he knew that he was going to go out and do his duty that day. I forget what he was talking about in that opening, but we were like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Timothy Nuttall is going to be the star of your show? The guy who doesn't remember about the puffy jacket and thought John O'Keefe was wearing a puffy jacket, and he was going into such detail about we have a puffy jacket emoji for that. He remembered in great detail during trial number 1 that he was wearing a puffy jacket, and because he remembered cutting off the puffy jacket and how it was so messy and all the innards of the puffy jacket went all over the place. And this witness is telling us, after listening to that guy, I was like, okay, I see where this is going. I didn't need to take any notes at all. Wow, I can't wait to read his book. I can't wait to read his book.
Coach stands by his not guilty verdicts and remains convinced someone other than Karen Reed killed John O'Keefe, but he also says the outcome of the trial might have been different if Reed had only been charged with manslaughter.
Would it have been more likely that she would have been found guilty?
Yes. Yeah. Because then she would have not felt like it was she could overcome that.
And some of the jurors might have been more swayed
exactly
toward that.
Because it was a lesser of a charge than murder and stuff. So.
Okay, what?
Now, Charlie DeLoach says he has not received any money.
John O'Keefe did not get hit by a car. John O'Keefe did not get hit by a car. I don't care if you call it murder or manslaughter or what you call it, but John O'Keefe was not hit by a car. I got to hear that again. I'm going back to the part about Nuttall.
No, I didn't have to after the first witness
Was
targeted black men.
DeLoach told students he found the prosecution's case against Reed fishy as soon as the first witness took the stand, an EMT who couldn't remember if John O'Keefe was found with a coat on.
I didn't take one note. I didn't have to after the first witness. It was just like, oh, okay, I see where this is going.
DeLoach stands by his not guilty verdicts and remains convinced someone other than Karen Reed killed John O'Keefe, but he also says the outcome of the trial might have been different if Reed had only been charged with manslaughter.
Would it have been more likely that she would have been found guilty?
Yes, yeah, because then she would have not felt like it was she could overcome that. Or
And some of the jurors might have been more swayed
exactly
toward that, you
because it
know.
was a lesser of a charge than murder and stuff. So
I'm surprised by that too.
Now, Charlie DeLoach says he has not received any money for this case since the trial ended back in June. He says he is speaking out now because he wants the case further investigated. Live in the back bay, David Bieniek, WCVB News Center 5.
Oh, guess what? So do we. We want the case further investigated too, Charlie. We want to see justice for John O'Keefe, and we're not going to shut the hell up about it until it happens, until some other people are in silver bracelets. That was a weird thing for him to say. Nathan says it didn't sound like he said he would find her guilty of manslaughter, just that it would have been easier for other jurors. So maybe he's throwing some shade on the prosecutors by saying, listen, you overcharged her, and had you charged her with manslaughter, maybe a different jury or some other people might have found her guilty of that. But I want to see that whole entire interview, and I hope somebody releases it. I don't know how long it was, but they've been sort of pumping it up all day. And they haven't really showed any clips. That was really the only clips that I saw of him. We need more Jets Patriots games. Wait, did somebody find the whole interview? Is the whole interview up? If it is, it's in my inbox. We'll play it. We will play it. Oh, you saw a clip? All right, well, let me see what else I can find on it. I mean, now that we're here and we're doing the thing. What's his name? Charlie DeLoach. If anybody finds any other clips, just email them to me and I'll pull them up as we go because, I want to see it in full too. I want to see it in full because they chop them up and then what they do is they edit it in such a way. And that was WCVB. And remember, isn't Greg Henning with WCVB? And that's their legal analyst is the one who represented Brian Albert in the Rule 17 motions to get his phone, right? I think so. John O'Keefe was not hit by a car. I mean, I don't know how many more times we can say that. Ding, 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 ding. I would totally interview him if he wants to come on my show and plug his book. I would totally plug his book, just like I plug Howie Carr's book, which is usually right here with me, but it's not. But it's great. Howie Carr's book is great. Go to, I guess, his website, howiecarr.com. I read it on vacation. It's really good. It's really good. It's really snarky. It is exactly what the Snark Tank likes. So I highly recommend Howie Carr's book. There was no collision. There was no collision. There was no collision. And Gigi, I'm not sure if this is old or new, or if you gifted another 10 memberships. I think that is from earlier. And Gigi says, you do what you want, Melanie. Read what you want when you want. Love you. Love you too. His book is going to be great. And I can't wait to see it. And it's interesting to me that he didn't even want to be on the jury. Right? Very interesting. He said Karen was factually innocent. I will plug a book. It is documented. I plugged Howie Carr's book. Absolutely, I will. I plugged other books as well. My friend Meredith wrote a book and she came on. I plugged her book too. That's fine because I don't ever intend to write a book. So it's not competition for me. Hold on. Howie is the man. And he's so snarky. And I love that about him. Well, here's something that might outrage you. This is good. We're going to go off on a lot of side tangents today because I have like not one topic to talk about, but a lot of things that annoyed me. And I started, as you know, I started digging into Justin Root the other day. And so many of you sent me documents. And I spoke with, I've been in touch with Justin Root's sister. And for those of you who don't know, Justin Root was assassinated by Boston PD and one MSP trooper all the way back in February of 2020. He was shot 31 times in the midst of a mental health crisis. After he'd already been shot, got in his car, tried to flee. They chased him. He was on the ground. They shot him. The Boston police officers and the one Massachusetts State Police trooper were eventually, well, they were cleared by Norfolk County DA Michael Marcy after an investigation by Yuri Buchanan, John Fanning, and Michael Proctor. And then there was an independent investigation by the Suffolk County DA, and they were still cleared. No charges were ever brought. Qualified immunity is the reason that the entire civil case was thrown out by Justin's family. But as I started going through the documents, and there's a ton of them, I came across this. And this this is going to piss you off. So ready for it? Ready for some outrage? Here you go. This is just one of the millions of documents that I'm looking at, and I'm not ready to analyze them just yet. But this immediately stuck out to me. This is the case officer was Lieutenant John Fanning. The date of the offense is February 7th of 2020. And this document is entitled, holy crap, I can't even believe this exists. The Massachusetts State Police Norfolk Chain of Custody Report. If your kids are in the room, put some earmuffs on. Holy shit. They have a chain of custody report in 2020? And John Fanning is the author of it? You mean they actually have like a thing? It's a thing? It's a thing in Norfolk County? They actually do chain of custody there? It's like seeing a unicorn, says Oh Sweetie No. I'm sorry, are you kidding me? And here it is. Here's the entire chain of custody report. They exist, Muzzy. They exist. Look at the date, February 7th of 2020. John Fanning. I think John Fanning is involved in the John O'Keefe matter. A lot more than he's been given credit for. But here it is. Written by Fanning, February 7th of 2020. They're calling it an armed robbery. It's Norfolk County. They've got the report when it suits them. Here it is. Suspect, defendant, Justin Root. And here's all the items that they collected. What? You mean they named the items one by one? Item number 1, item number 2, item number 3, item number 4. This is 10 pages long, this chain of custody report. Well, I don't know, 4/30 of 2025 means that is, I guess, when it was printed out. I don't know if that's the date that they created it. We know they backdated their chain of custody report in Karen Reed's trial. But I don't remember ever seeing a form like this. Do you? That's right, Zoe. We have learned that the Norfolk County DA's office technology ages in reverse. They used audio recordings in 2021 for Dr. Turk, but not in 2022 for John O'Keefe. No, they didn't. In fact, for the murder of a Boston police officer, they actually did nothing by the book. They did nothing. There's no chain of custody report, which apparently they've got a 10-page long one when their officers shot a man. They recorded statements in Brian Walsh in 2022. They recorded statements in Harry Turk in 2021. I'm sorry, Brian Walsh was 2023. Harry Turk's case was 2021. And for example, look at how detailed this chain of custody report is. I'm blown away. Let's look here. Item number 1, current custody stored in location, upper deck. Collection date and time, February 7th, 2020, 1600 hours. Collection purpose, evidence collected by David DeChico. DeChico's name is all over the Justin Root case too. Collection location, BPD HQ. Originally, what does it say? BI emergency room from victim. Packaging, quantity, item type, 1 brown paper bag containing jewelry. Detailed description, 1 metal necklace, 1 white metal ring, 1 yellow metal ring, 1 passport, 1 piece of plastic, red brown stains, butcher paper, original evidence bag, handcuffs, biohazard chain of custody paperwork, and plastic hospital tray. Owner, Justin Root. Item notes, Sergeant Fanning removed the white metal necklace, white metal ring, yellow metal ring, and passport and released to Jennifer Bannon, that's Justin Root's sister, on 4/14/20. This is the way it's supposed to be done, and apparently they know how to do it. Every time somebody touches the evidence or moves the evidence or collects the evidence, there is supposed to be a log made. This is the log. Jen Toxic is shocked. Yes, KBD, KDB. So this is really kind of infuriating. I'm seeing how cocky those Canton PD were on the state troopers in Canton PD were on the stand for Karen, and they played so stupid like it didn't exist, right? Like it didn't even exist. Item number 2, current custody returned to owner. And it says here, process, hold for investigative purposes. Well, this is Justin Roots, so I don't know if they have, that's a good point. Do they have solo cups here too? Here's an item that was collected by Michael Proctor. 1 brown paper bag containing 1 cellular phone. Collected by Michael Proctor on February 7th of 2020 at 19:20 hours. Do you mean that when they collect a cell phone, they're supposed to put it into a chain of custody log? Who collected it? What time they collected it? Where they collected it? Where they put it? Who the owner is? Are you outraged yet? Because we have an emoji for that. Item number 3. More evidence collected by Michael Proctor, 2/7/2020 at 19:05 hours. 1 brown paper bag containing 1 USB flash drive. 2 green and gray flash drive owned by Justin Root. And here's where they put them, in the upper deck. And they were holding them for investigative purposes. They all know how to do it, because the next piece of evidence was collected by Matthew Dunn. He also testified. He was involved in the John O'Keefe investigation. Stuff that they collected from Justin's house. In the 3rd drawer of the dresser in the bedroom. It was a plastic paintball gun package. And exactly when they collected it, where they collected it, and where they put it. It's stored in location bin number 1. I mean, I can't even believe that there's such a thing, because they acted like they had no idea what anybody was talking about. Pants. They collected some pants. Yuri Buchanan is in there too. He's collecting pants. Talking about where he collected it. There is no owner associated with this item, but it says 1 pair of uniform pants, Officer Icock. Can't make that up, can you? No, this is before the panty. This is February of 2020. The panty didn't start until March. So that's not even an excuse. David DeChico collected 1 discharged cartridge casing and 8 white metal Smith & Wesson 40 caliber casings from in front of the Star Market on Boylston Street in Chestnut Hill in the parking lot median bush east of Body at 8:30 on February 8th. And he collected them and he put them in bin number 1. This is insane. This is more evidence that Karen Reed's civil rights were violated and that they know how to do an investigation and they know what chain of custody is. David DeChico's collecting all the ballistics, putting them in envelopes, marking it down. And it's 10 pages long. Yeah, Mitchell's like, is bin number 1 the trash? Yeah, must not have been snowing that day. It was in February. There's video. I don't know. I don't think it was snowing. Yeah, Hot for the Hillside says Proctor was all, the police report is the custody log. And then they called, you know who they called? Remember? Retired Sergeant DGM Pietro. They called him and they had him quickly backdate and draft a brand new chain of custody for those videos that were on his hard drive, right? Yep. KDB says, all I can see is Yuri's cocky smile when he was questioned on the stand about all this stuff for Karen's case. Here's Tully. Tully's in the mix too. Can't leave him out. Wow. So far, everyone involved in this case was also involved in the investigation of the murder of John O'Keefe. Tully collecting a notebook. Justin Root's notebook. Putting it in the upper deck because they have an evidence room. It's wild, isn't it? Here's Tully again. Collecting a B of A bank card and a glossy $100 bill picture belonging to Justin Root. All being held for investigative purposes. Tully's there again. The usual suspects. Wow. Just wow. Proctor was involved in this investigation. Proctor's phone extraction has just been turned over to a lot of defendants who are awaiting trial for murder, going all the way back to 2013, which means that whatever Proctor was talking about with the usual suspects in their usual group text messages regarding the investigation of the murder of Justin Root could lead to so many more things, couldn't it? Whatever was in Proctor's phone, and we're not even really sure if it had to do with the investigation of the murder of John O'Keefe, whatever was included in that extraction was huge enough to get Sergeant Sean Good of Canton PD suspended with pay for now. Yep. And Judge Cannoni prevented Michael Easter's testimony. Yep. She would not allow in a procedural expert for Karen Reed's defense. Flummoxed with everything, Massachusetts says, wait, what? Proctor collected items at the scene and then later it was up to Proctor and Yuri to decide if there was any wrongdoing? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So when I used to say, I don't think that what's going on in the Karen Reed case is just involving the Karen Reed case. I think it's way, 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 way deeper than Karen Reed. They effed with the wrong girl. They tried to pin it on the wrong girl because she's not going to quit, and neither are we. And so much other stuff is going to come to light. Right? Yep. More stuff. Tully, Fanning. Spent projectiles with even look, they even have the serial numbers for the spent projectiles. Can you believe it? Yes, I bet Justin is also referred to in Proctor's phone extraction, says John Courtney. Yes, I think so too. And Tipton wants the information on all of them, hoping he gets it so we can see it. Yep. Well, they got the total phone extraction. What they didn't get was the federal TUI dump in the Karen Reed case. That went back to the feds. And Krupp gave an order saying, don't destroy this stuff, just hang on to it. But that's completely different from Proctor's phone extraction, which they do have. Crazy, right? They also found a plastic paintball gun. And a pellet gun, BB gun. And another plastic paintball gun. And here's DeChico again. DeChico coming back in. Hot. One plastic bag containing one head hair. Standard. Oh, they found a hair? They didn't collect that until April 8th of 2020. The date of the shooting was February 7th of 2020. But they do know how, apparently. Apparently there's even a form in the computer for the MSP Norfolk for the chain of custody. Did it get tested? I don't know. I haven't been in here to do enough of a deep dive. This is the first thing that I looked at today. And it blew my mind that this even existed. That there was such a thing, because they gaslit us into believing that what are you talking about, chain of custody? What are you talking about? We don't have that. We don't have that here. We don't do that here. We don't have any sort of log. What do you mean? Doesn't it make sense now why Michael Easter was not allowed to testify? Does it though? And they're all over it. DeChico, Tully, Proctor, Fanning, Buchanan. And look, a chain of custody history with all of the officers' names and numbers. Buchanan, DeChico, Tully, 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 Proctor, Proctor, Dunn, DeChico, DeChico, DeChico. They know how it's supposed to be done. They just didn't do it while investigating the murder of a fellow brother in blue. But they sure did know how to do it when they wanted to help out some brothers. And oh, look, Kikowski is in here too. And when you look back at the John O'Keefe murder investigation, maybe they did care about another brother in blue, Brian Albert. Dunn was lead on Sandra Birchmore with Fanning. It's so much deeper than the Karen Reed case. So much deeper. And look, every time they move a piece of evidence, like here on September 27th of 2021, Trooper Kikowski signed out some evidence and says, Sergeant Fanning and Trooper Kikowski bring the items to the main conference room of the Norfolk County DA's office for review by the following people. And then they name a bunch of people. One of whom is Justin's sister. Because every time evidence is moved, there's supposed to be a log. And then look, when they returned it, there also is an entry for when it was returned and who did it, Kikowski and Fanning. And here's the item numbers. And here's where they put them in the upper deck. And here's where they put them in bin number 1. And here's those item numbers. And the remote, some other items by DeChico were put in remote storage. Every time somebody touches a piece of evidence, there's supposed to be a log. They told you they didn't do that in Norfolk County, but yes, they do. Yes, they do. But they just didn't. They didn't do it in the murder of John O'Keefe. Why? Why didn't they do it? Why didn't they do it? It's rhetorical, but why didn't they do it? Wild, isn't it? Thanks, Kay. Kay says, thanks for recommending the show High Potential. I'm hooked. Thank you, Kay. Kay Willis is a realtor. She's south of Boston. For all of your real estate needs, if you want to sell and get the hell out of there, Kay's your girl. Thanks for your time. Deanne says, hey, Melanie, they have added more books to Kelsey's wish list on Amazon. How did I not even know that there wasn't a wish list on Amazon? Nobody ever told me there was one. Thank you, Deanne. Thank you, Deanne. In fact, I suggested them setting up a wish list of books, and I was told that she already has enough books. I didn't even know there was one. Otherwise, I would have been promoting it. Wag said, I hate that I've been late on replay too much. Oh, I'll forgive you, girl. You can always hit the like button anytime or like hype the video. I don't even know what that means, hype the video. But you can hype the video too. I can't share my thoughts with the chat and I'm outraged to avoid. I don't know what that means. Oh, because you haven't been here? Well, you're back. You're back. What the hell? Proctor's doing the vehicle processing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's right. Says, how dare you? Thanks for being here for 15 months. Music to myself says, so if Norfolk, Massachusetts State Police produces chain of custody reports, were they hidden in Karen's case? More discovery violations from the Commonwealth? I wonder what they said. Were they hidden or did they just not exist? That's another great question. Is it like the magical mystery Sallyport video that didn't magically appear until after trial number 1? Because it was on the hard drive of a retired detective named DGM Pietro. But then in Judge Cannoni's order, he decided that it was in a drawer and Proctor put it there and he was the one responsible for it. So many questions. Will we ever find out? Maybe we will, because we're never going to shut up about it. Thanks, Robin, for your super sticker. I appreciate you. It certainly wasn't in bin number 1, says Charlie. And you're right. It wasn't in bin number 1, was it? Nope, sure wasn't. They had butcher paper. We heard about the butcher paper. We heard about the John O'Keefe's clothing being laid out on the butcher paper after it was all shoved into the same bag and it was soaking wet with blood and vomit. And yesterday we went over again Karen's original arraignment, the video from her arraignment on February 2nd of 2022. And Lally said Proctor and Buchanan went to the scene and began to process, and the scene is 34 Fairview. And they did some witness interviews. And we heard Lally say that his boxer shorts were collected and that his boxer shorts were soaked with blood and vomit. How did blood get on his boxer shorts? I mean, I could see that if he had a massive head injury, which he did, and he was propped up against a wall or something, and his head fell forward and he vomited, that there could be vomit on his boxers if his boxers were like, I don't know, if his boxers were like above the waist of his jeans and his shirt was pulled up. Like, I still don't even know how they could be soaked with vomit and blood. But where would the blood come from on his boxer shorts? Yep, right, but not on his jeans. Well, there were some red-brown stains that I think were never tested that were tested and they were positive for blood, but multiple contributors. And one of them was John O'Keefe, but they never tested who the other ones could have been. Right? Huh. Like I could see the vomit if you bend over and vomit, but like the blood was coming from his arm, right? And the back of his head, upright bleeding from his nose, right? How's that happen? Oh, that's right. When you get punched in the nose and you get a bloody nose. I still want to know if he had a fractured nose because that was never brought up. But my guess was that he did have a fractured nose, but it was never brought up. Right. And that's why Andrea Burkhart got involved, because she's a boxer. She's like, these are classic boxer injuries. Classic. She said even the blood pattern on the shirt is classic boxing injury, bloody nose pattern. Yep. Interesting, right? I don't know. But I found it interesting also that the other blood on the jeans was never tested, and there were other contributors, right? And weren't there other contributors? Tell me, there was like 2 or 3 unknown male contributors to some of the red-brown stains, and also maybe to some of the stains on the sneakers. I don't remember exactly, but you know what is great news is that they still have those samples. So, if anybody else is ever, I don't know, arrested, maybe they can get a sample of their DNA, force them to give a buccal swab. And maybe if the samples are good enough, they can test them against those blood stains on John O'Keefe's jeans and shirt. And refresh my recollection, chat. Were the blood samples in the solo cups ever tested? Because wouldn't somebody have intellectual curiosity about whether that was in fact John O'Keefe's blood? Or maybe if there was a perpetrator, maybe it could have been the perpetrator's blood? The only DNA they got was from Buchanan and Proctor to rule them out. And so they were ruled out. But I think they were only ruled out with regard to the hair and the DNA on the car. I don't know. And maybe the blood too. I don't think it was their blood. They only tested 1 cup. And did it come back? Did they say? Everyone says nope. We have a nope emoji for that. That's right. We have a nope emoji from Proctor. So I guess the homeowner's going to catch a lot of shit too, huh? Nope. He's a Boston cop too. They didn't test all 6 solo cups. That was in the second trial. Solo cups were swabbed but never tested. She used 1 cotton swab for all, but not for all of the. I thought she used 1 cotton swab to swab around all of the teeth marks on the shirt, right? I don't remember about the solo cups, but I do remember that they were not tested. I think I have to go back and watch it. No curiosity or self-reflection, none, less than none, less than 0. Thanks, Betsy. We ain't gonna quit. Thank you. For your 10. Natasha says, did I see you on Evil Lives Here? Yeah. When? Was it on again? I shot that episode like, it had to be 6 years ago at least. Was it on again? Oh, it's the gift that keeps on giving on Discovery ID. It could have been me. I was married to Carl Carlson. It was the Carl Carlson case where he killed our son. Or maybe it was his son. I don't remember. But that was a fun show to shoot. So yeah, if that was the episode, then it was me. Technical Al says, I reactivated my Texas and Louisiana bar licenses today. Congratulations. Congratulations. Do you plan on practicing in Texas and Louisiana? The whole thing is ridiculous. Hold on. They weren't going to waste time on testing, says Amanda. They were banking on Karen taking a plea. Scott McGinnis says, what was ridiculous? If Karen Reed's Lexus did run down Officer John O'Keefe, what was the purpose of blood samples anyways? Well, there was no blood on the undercarriage of the car or on any part of the car, right? I think they found some touch DNA somewhere near the taillight, and they said it was John O'Keefe's. And then we saw a picture of the blood samples in the solo cups that were wide open in a Stop and Shop bag next to the murder weapon. Crazy, right? Mary says, no, the lab was like, oh, WTF am I supposed to do with this? Whispering Winds says, and let's not forget, John never went into the house, so nobody that was in the house should have DNA on John. Right. Yes, exactly. Exactly right. Exactly. Are those samples too degraded to test? I don't know. But I mean, we saw what happened with Rex Sherman, right? I mean, a couple of undercovers followed him around, watched him eat a slice of pizza. Always eat the crust, my friends. He threw the pizza crust away in the garbage. They fished the pizza crust out of the garbage. They got his DNA from the pizza crust and they matched it against the hairs that they found on the Gilgo 4. And that's how they got him. Wouldn't be too hard to get those people's DNA samples. I'm just saying. They don't want to give them voluntarily. It can still be done, right? Never trust in the crust. That's right. I mean, come on now. All hope is not lost. There will be justice for John O'Keefe. I fully believe that. And I think it's going to come sooner than you think. John O'Keefe was not hit by a car. A car did not hit John O'Keefe. Therefore, someone else murdered him. It's a limited list of people. And it shouldn't be too hard to figure out if anybody cares enough to try and figure it out. Right? Right. The shoes did have sand. Right. The shoes. I wonder why they never tested the blood on the shoes with 2 unknown male DNA. Right. So there was like 2 unknown male contributors to this sneaker. Right. And then there was maybe 3 unknown male DNA samples on the jeans or the shirts or something. I don't want to screw it up. So I don't want to give you wrong information. But we do know that there were unknown male samples on various parts of John O'Keefe's clothing. Right? Beauty for Ashes says there was so much shady goings on and doings and sloppy investigating, and yet the first jury mistrialed. Yeah, they were hung. Blows my mind. I want to know if anything in the documents we are now being given will show jury tampering. Oh, you mean Proctor's phone extraction? Oh, wouldn't that be crazy? I mean, let's spitball for a second. Let's brainstorm. Let's hypothesize. What do you think was found in Proctor's phone that led to Sergeant Sean Good being suspended? Tell me what you think. It might not be involving the John O'Keefe case. It might be involving something else. What do you think it is? What could have been found that would be so egregious that immediately upon seeing it, Canton PD would immediately suspend him? Everything. Everything. Yes, the snowblower uncovered 6 drops of blood, but not 1 piece of taillight. Curious, isn't it? You know what I find curious too, Pastor Prime, is that nobody who lived at 34 Fairview ever found a piece of taillight. I mean, the chief who was on medical leave, Chief Berkowitz, may he rest in peace. He's eating at the Endless Heaven buffet right now. He, with his Coke bottle glasses, just happened to be driving by one day and just happened to see a piece. Nobody who lived at 34 Fairview ever saw a piece of taillight. Kippy Hippie says, I think he shared SA victims' personal info and degraded them. Full of questions, Barbara says, sharing nudes from third-party phones. Interesting. Cathode said nudes also. Yeah, you gotta be creative with your spelling. Yeah, it was a leaf blower. That's correct. It was a leaf blower. That was probably a typo, a scrivener's error, Zoe. Grace Bay says there was a tweet about a rumor about something Proctor texted to a Canton PD officer, which was tweeted before he was suspended. You think it was racist? Could be racist, says Welcher's emotional support laptop. Beauty for Ashes says Fanning was in charge of the jury and he is so not trustworthy. Well, that has been apparently debunked by Judge Cannoni, who says that absolutely not. John Fanning had nothing to do with the jury. He was never even in the building. But, you know, there was never an evidentiary hearing, so we really don't know. But there's that. Hoffer the Hillside says if she takes the plea, it's over. If not, it's a whole other episode, said Matt McCabe. Wonder if he got that from his cop buddies. Lindsay thinks it was the nudes too. Dennis, thank you very much. And your Venmo says, I swear Sergeant Good made perverted comments on Anna Walsh's nudes that Proctor found. Well, we don't know for right now whether they did find nudes of Anna Walsh, but I have speculated that from the beginning, and it remains to be confirmed. But Larry Tipton, who I love, I think he's the best public defender in all of Massachusetts, has said that there is absolutely horrific things on that phone that are highly relevant to the case of Brian Walsh. And so we don't know, but that could be, Dennis. That could be. Birchmore, maybe it was stuff involving Birchmore, right? Because Sandra Birchmore was murdered February of 2021, right? So Justin Root, February 2020, Sandra Birchmore, February 2021, John O'Keefe, January 2022, Anna Walsh, January 2023. Racism, nudes, disregard for human life. I mean, Carmen knows your address, right? Denise says Proctor's such a criminal. It can be anything. Gigi's here and she gifted another 10 memberships. Gigi, you were so generous tonight. You're amazing. You're amazing. Craig Casey was 2018. Craig Casey was 2018. Craig Casey was a guy who was involved in an, I'm not sure. He was fleeing from a scene of something, I think. And he had a major car accident. He was ejected from the vehicle. The police found the vehicle, but they did not find his body. And then his body was found by a neighbor or by a civilian after the scene was cleared. And his body had been ejected from the car and it flew a long way, not to be gross, and it was right around the corner near One Meadows where John O'Keefe lived. Was that in 2018? R.I.P. Craig Casey. Yeah, that was another screw up by Canton PD. Thank you, Gigi, for gifting another 10. You're completely amazing. Tracy says, can Alan Jackson have those tested now with the civil trial? Should be able to access that stuff. It's still in evidence, right? It's still there. Still in the custody. I don't know where they keep the evidence after the trial's over, but it just doesn't get disposed of. They need to make a motion to preserve all that stuff just in case, because apparently we didn't even know that they had forms in their computer for chain of custody. Thanks, Tracy, for your 5. Oh, Sheila. Oh, thank you. You make my day even more. Thanks for being with me for 3 months. Carmen knows your address and your phone number, says Linda. Thank you. Oh, Sheila. Dr. Trey says, I have a bad feeling that John's evidence will go missing. I don't know. I keep waiting for the Karen's civil documents to drop where they're going to bring in those 10 new defendants, but nothing yet. Damon Seligson spoke to Howie Carr about it. Remember? That was like a couple of weeks ago, and he said it was imminent. They keep checking the docket every day. So I don't know. Indigo Forever says, we don't know if this is true. Proctor was sharing photos. Photos got him kicked out of his home. I don't know if he's been kicked out of his home, but how long until the feds pull up? We'll see. Mastad is saying that Canoni will retire when she's 70. She can collect maximum pension. How old is she now? How much time do we have left? I want to hear about the sidebars. I want to hear about the sidebars too. Scott McGinnis says the Corey Hopkins procured emails so far are fascinating via her fight for freedom of information and corruptus usus. Yeah, we looked at a couple of them. Stop. Scott Hughes says, hey, Mel, I saw man Shannon selling trinkets with his wife at a neighborhood market in Texas. Stop, you didn't. Did you stop and talk to him? Crispy Tree says, I mean, if you're looking for some evidence that might be lost, check Proctor's desk. And Woods and And Doodles says the same thing. I would check Proctor's drawer for the evidence. Corey Hopkins is here. Hi, Corey. She says, I'm doing the best I can to bring new documents to the table while we wait for the Karen Reed suit. I know. We need some things to look at. We need some sidebars. I told you what I think is going to happen, right? First of all, Damon Seligson made that motion to unseal those sidebars when? In July? It still hasn't been ruled on? I think she's just going to, grant his motion, and then your motion will be moot, and then they don't have to deal with you at all because, they don't like it when a really smart girl from another state comes in and asks for stuff. But why was there never any follow-up on the motion that's been floating out there since, I think, July? Were they just going to ignore it? Right? Oh, she's 63 or 64. All right, she got 6 more years left. I don't know. Who knows what could be in Proctor's phone? It could implicate a lot of people. I'm not saying it could involve her at all. But listen, the possibilities are endless at this point. Courageous Corey. Thank you. Thank you, Leah Baker says everyone needs to share this presentation. My YouTube presentation from yesterday, it was epic. It was. That took a lot of work, but that was good. That was like 4.5 hours and it flew by, didn't it? Wait, what? Diane says they just found evidence this summer from the Krista Worthington murder in Truro during a renovation on Massachusetts State Police Yarmouth Barracks, a blue and white sweater that possibly implicates another person. Wait a second. We talked about this case at length. And the reason that we talked about this case at length is because it had to do with double jeopardy, that case. And there were some alleged racial comments that were made in the jury room. And they brought the jury back in. Mastad, you're here. Who's the defendant in that case of Krista Worthington? And so that is the prevailing case law in Massachusetts of when you can bring a jury back in. Oh, and he says the sweater's been in MSP custody since the arrest. It's not new evidence. Okay, thanks. All right. Well, anyway, we did talk about that case at length when we were looking at Karen Reed's double jeopardy appeal and the appeal that took forever and went on and on and on and on and on. Oh, we still got to hit the like. We got to hit the like button. There's almost 4,000 people here. Should the sidebar be a play or a musical? I'm a musical fan. I think it should be a musical. I vote for a musical. Thank you for Strange Credulity for gifting a membership. Techno Al says, yep, I've gone back to lawyering. Have an egregious 1983 case right now. I'll email you. Piney Woods. Oh, thanks. Congratulations on coming out of retirement. And Lemonade gifted a membership too. You're amazing. You're amazing. Asylum One says, I live on Cape Cod. I do believe Krista's boyfriend was suspect, in my opinion. That's good when you say in my opinion. Right? Weekend at Bevy's says, riddle me this. Does anybody think that the stunt Hank pulled to get Alessi to take the sweater out of the protective case was to sabotage it so it could not be further tested? Spitball in here. I don't know. I questioned from the beginning of the trial why that stuff was like in the plexiglass frames, like it was going to be hung in the, Hard Rock Hall of Fame. Like Jim Morrison's t-shirt. Like, why were they in those plexiglass cases to begin with? And now we know. And now we know. It sure was weird and disturbing. I don't know. I had a lot of questions about that. A lot of questions about that. There's another civil case in Justin Root that's still pending. I know, like I said, I haven't been able to, the documents are voluminous and I just started getting into them, but the first thing I saw was that chain of custody report, so I wanted to bring that to your attention immediately. And so I'm not aware of the current status. I know one of the civil cases was thrown out on qualified immunity. But if there's another one, I can't give you all the details on that yet. I just can't. Hope's been here for 18 months and she says, I love that all of Proctor's messages are now proving Karen's innocence. Great show. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Living on Cape Cod is overrated, you're saying? Oh, Emily C is absolutely. She wants to play. I think she wants to play Hank when we get the sidebar transcripts. And I've already said I will allow it. We'll be casting for the sidebar transcripts when they come out. I'll play Judge Cannoni. You know who would be the best role if you wanted to book a role? Judge Kathleen McCarthy Nyman. That would be a great role because you'd really have to fuel your inner anger, hatred, and vitriol for a woman that you don't even know. I mean, really. Music to My Soul says, will Bev even be the one to rule on Karen's motion to unimpound the sidebar since she was transferred to a different courthouse? I don't know. I heard it was assigned to her. But again, I don't know because the docket's not giving me a whole lot of information. I'm going to check it again. But because she was the one who originally impounded everything and she sealed the record, she should be the one to hear it. But the way things work over there in Norfolk County, we see sometimes, especially in Aiden Carney's case, that every time it's on for a hearing, it's a different judge. So I really don't know, but let me just see if I can pull it up quickly here. Because then I can tell you when that motion was actually filed. Let us see. I mean, it hasn't been set for a hearing or anything. The motion was never opposed by the Commonwealth, which was also weird until this really weird filing. So why don't we take a look at that? Since we're talking about that, let's take a look at it. Hold, please. The docket is just spinning, 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 spinning. Okay, you can stop spinning now. Lally did file a motion, so let's take a look at that. Can you imagine the cursing that was going on under his breath when he was having to type out this motion, and he typed it in single-spaced font? It really bothers me, but hang on a second. Because now I got to figure out where I put it. It's still buffering. Okay, here's where it is. It's in the defendant's opposition to Corey Hopkins' motion. Hold on. They attached it as an exhibit. Okay, here it is. And they filed it in the Commonwealth versus Karen Reed. The whole thing is very strange. It's even, I mean, it's not as strange as the whole search warrant filing that they made to search Karen Reed's phones that they've had since January of 2024, because I have no idea what docket number that's under. If anybody does know, Corey, if you know, let me know. I can't find it anywhere in the docket. They didn't file it under Karen Reed's. They didn't file it under Aiden's. They filed it under a weird search warrant number. And I've never seen the opposition to that. Cosgrove made a motion to search Karen Reed's phones that they've had in their possession since January of 2024. And it's just out there in the wild. I can't get into the docket. So I think they know it's me trying to get in. I have no idea. All right, let's take a look at the motion seeking clarification regarding sidebar transcripts impoundment that LALLY had to file because of Corey. So music's my soul. The answer is I don't know because I can't access the docket right now because it's just buffering. Stop that. Let's put this up. This is a motion seeking clarification regarding sidebar transcripts impoundment. And this was filed allegedly October 28th of 2025, but it wasn't even put into the docket until something like November 10th or 11th. I would give you the exact date, but I can't. And somebody else said, I think Mass Courts is having issues today. I was able to get in earlier, but you could be right. It's giving me nothing. It's giving me nothing, less than nothing. Okay, here it is. And it's LALLY. It's the work of LALLY. And it's not supposed to be single spaced, but it is. I mean, did he type it himself on his word processor in his house next to his lunchbox? I have so many questions. Motion seeking clarification regarding sidebar transcripts impoundment. Now comes the Commonwealth and seeks clarification from this honorable court in regard to the court's order of impoundment of sidebar conferences and juror names. The Norfolk District Attorney's Office has received numerous public records requests for sidebar conferences related to this matter. Well, they've received numerous ones. It wasn't just Corey, it's numerous ones. How many of you have requested the sidebar transcripts just like Corey did? Numerous ones, according to law. Numerous people have requested them. Who, if anyone, formatted this? I know. It's a 1982 IBM with a dot matrix printer. Speaking of babies. The Norfolk DA's office, consistent with the court's orders related to impoundment, has withheld production of said materials and is now subject to civil suits related to such withholding. Well, you're subjected to them, all right, because Queen Corey's in town now. There's a new sheriff in town. The Commonwealth filed a motion in limine entitled Commonwealth's Motion in Limine for appointment of court stenographer, ongoing order to impound all sidebar conferences and impoundment of juror names during trial. Paper number 291 on April 10th of 2024, prior to the first trial in this matter. The court allowed the motion by agreement on April 12th of 2024. On July 8th of 2024, the court issued an order of impoundment relative to the list of identifying names of impaneled jurors in the trial of this case, set to expire 10 days from its issuance. Paper number 372. On July 18th of 2024, the court extended that order of impoundment until and unless otherwise ordered by the court for good cause shown. The court's findings and order was an allowance of Juror Doe's emergency motion to extend the July 8th, 2024 impoundment order, paper number 381. On November 7th of 2024, let me get my highlighter out, the defendant filed a motion for relief from the court's April 10th, 2024 order to impound the sidebar conferences, paper number 408. On November 13th of 2024, the court issued an order in which it stated, quote, sidebar conferences prior to trial and occurring during the trial that discuss evidentiary issues shall be transcribed and made available to counsel and the court. The court finds that good cause exists to extend the impoundment order for all sidebar conferences that discuss jurors or juror issues. Okay, what do we know? Using our context clues, here's what we know. All of the sidebar conferences from trial number 1 have been transcribed. They're transcribed. They have them. They're there because the court said so. They're just impounded, but they are transcribed. As a result of this order, the Norfolk DA's office requested and received transcripts of the sidebar conferences that occurred during the first trial. So they've got them all. They've got them all. And think about it. Zoe, our resident statistician, did the work, did the Lord's work on trial number 2. And in trial number 2, there were 204 sidebar conferences, 204. She's working on trial number 1. She'll get us those statistics when she can. She's doing the Lord's work. But really, how many of them involve juror issues? I know there were some that involved juror issues during trial number 1 because I was there for one of those days. I was there with Mark Betterow, and it was Flag Day. It was June 14th, 2024. And we were in the courtroom, and there were a lot of sidebar conferences that day about juror issues. A number of jurors were brought up to the bench. I think one of them wound up being excused that day. It was a long time ago. I kind of forget, but there were a lot of jurors questioned sidebar that day. Okay. But really, in the grand scheme of things, in trial number 2, if there were 204 sidebar conferences, how many of them do you think involved anything having to do with jurors? Not a lot. Okay. They can redact it. Exactly. They know how to redact. It can be done. Done all the time. So they've got them in their possession, custody, and control. And then Lally goes on to say, on March 10th of 2025, the Commonwealth filed a motion in limine entitled Commonwealth's Motion in Limine to appoint court stenographer, prevent identification of jurors, and Commonwealth and impound juror names during trial. See, when it's single spaced, it's hard to read. Lally needs to go back to law school and attend a legal writing class. Maybe his paralegal hates him. Maybe they kept Hank's paralegal on. Remember the pencil skirt paralegal who hated Hank Brennan because she kept spelling his name wrong? And pretty much she spelled everything wrong. We had a good laugh over that. Prior to the second trial of this matter, on March 31st of 2025, the court issued its memorandum of decision ordering 1, the sidebar conferences will not be available on FTR until after the trial has concluded. 2, good cause exists to impound the list of seated jurors until at least the conclusion of the trial. 3, sidebar conferences will not be available on FTR. And 4, spectators and media are prohibited from attempting to provide identifying information of jurors to the public, including physical descriptions of the jurors. On June 18th of 2025, the court issued a further order of impoundment. Right, that was the date of the acquittal. The court found good cause existed to impound the list identifying the names of impaneled jurors. The court ordered the juror list be impounded, set to expire 10 days from the date of issuance. On June 26th of 2025, the court issued an order to extend June 18th, 2025 impoundment order. In that order, the court stated that the court finds that good cause exists to extend the impoundment order dated June 16th, 2024 until and unless otherwise ordered by the court. Okay, but hold on. That's a different order. There's an order in 2024 to impound the jurors' names, and then there's an order in 2025. So why would extending the 2024 order automatically apply to the 2025 order? In my opinion, it wouldn't, because it's 2 different trials. Nobody asked me. Corey, you can argue. On July 30th of 2025, the court received and docketed defendant Karen Reed's motion for relief from April 14th, 2024 order to impound sidebar conferences. Okay, so that's when Damon Seligson made that motion. July 30th of 2025. It's never been ruled on. It's been 3.5 months. Has he ever followed up and said, hello, court, are you ever going to rule on my motion? I'm sure he's been very busy. Last time I looked at the docket, there was nothing filed, like no, letter or anything asking for status. There's never even been an opposition to the motion from the DA's office. They've never opposed it until Corey. This motion was filed by counsel who is not an attorney of record in this case. Okay. So he can file a notice of appearance. Is that why you didn't oppose it, Lally? Because Damon Seligson didn't enter a notice of appearance in Karen Reed's murder case? That's over? Is that good cause to not oppose a motion? Seems to be his excuse for mommy. The motion seeks, quote, release of any sidebar conferences that occurred during either of the two trials in this case and any pretrial sidebar conferences dealing with evidentiary issues from its prior order of impoundment, except as to the identity of jurors. No action has been taken by the court on this motion. It hasn't been opposed either. Of note, the Norfolk DA's office is in possession of 12 transcripts from the second trial. All of these transcripts contain sidebar conferences, footnote 1. Okay, so for some reason, they have 12 transcripts from trial number 2. Maybe they needed them. Maybe they needed the dailies, as they say, for their closing or for whatever. They just wanted transcripts. Footnote number 1 says, the Norfolk DA's office possesses transcripts of several witnesses' testimonies from the second trial. However, the DA's office does not possess a majority of transcripts from the second trial. All right, well, get typing. Stenographer will be happy. They get paid by the page. On September 10th of 2025, the DA's office received a public records request for all sidebar transcripts from the trials in this case. That was from Corey Hopkins. On September 25th of 2025, the Norfolk DA's office responded to this request, citing in part the pending motion before the court, paper number 730, and the DA's intended continued compliance with this court's governing order of impoundment. The same response of the Norfolk DA's office to an earlier request of similar materials had been appealed, in which the supervisor of records declined to issue an opinion, citing the pendency of active litigation pursuant to 950 CMR 3230. Okay, but there's no active litigation anymore in the Karen Reed trials. They're over. She was acquitted. So how is that applicable here? On September 25th of 2025, the individual making the public records request from September 10th filed a civil complaint in Suffolk Superior Court against the Norfolk DA's office, seeking, among other monetary measures, a court order to produce the sidebar transcripts. Wherefore, the Commonwealth respectfully seeks from this court an order of clarification as to the status of impoundment of transcripts of sidebar conferences in this matter. Well, XOXO, Adam Lally. He's still an assistant district attorney. He's still making about 140 grand a year. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's why he needs to bring a lunchbox. Dated October 28th of 2025. Also, he's been working at the DA's office for 20 years. 20 years he's been with them. And he's making, I think, $140 or a little maybe more now. How much did they pay Hank Brennan again to come in and try this case for the second time for a couple months of work? How many times Adam Lally's annual salary? He's not opposing the motion. He's just asking the court to clarify whether or not he can turn him over. Strange credulity says 20 years and he still can't figure out that this order has terminated. I don't even know. I don't even know what to make of it. No idea. It's crazy. What say you? Hang on, let me pull this off for a second. So I think he claims that it was filed on October 28th. I think it wasn't actually docketed or scanned in until, like, I don't know, a couple of days ago. He's not opposing it. Lally cares about this about as much as the missing search warrants, right? In the Miles King's case. Right, Mozzie? You're right. So I can't tell you whether this has been assigned to Judge Cannoni. My guess would be that it's going to be, but who the hell knows? Thank you, Peacock's Rock, for becoming a new member. Well, welcome. And Gigi says, how about, do you remember Song for the Playlist, Phil Collins? Apparently, all these idiots do not remember anything. And I love Phil Collins. I love Phil Collins too. I saw him recently play with Genesis, and it's very, very sad. He's in a wheelchair, and he's a shadow of his former self, but he still is amazing. And Gigi says, I met him at Astro World when I worked there. Wow. I love Phil Collins too, and I love original Genesis too. So Corey said that it was assigned to Judge Cannoni, Music to My Soul says. And also Corey said, I think she's supposed to have a meeting tomorrow with Hopkins, who's like the acting chief of police over in Canton PD, to try and resolve the issue of the records she wants from Canton PD without a lawsuit, right? So I guess we'll see. I guess we're going to see. Thank you, Tiff, for sending me the Boston 10 article on the Karen Reed juror. Let's see if they have different video in here. I'll suffer through the commercial for us. Looks like they might, but I have to sit through the Wendy's ad first. Okay, hold on. Corey says their new position is that there are no responsive documents. The battle continues. No responsive, but what was it that you requested from the Canton PD? I don't know what your exact request was, but yeah, okay. So that's what they're saying now? Is that Canton PD or are we talking, that can't be the sidebars because we know that the sidebars exist. All right, let's take a look at Boston 10 and their piece on the Karen Reed juror who's writing a book who answered questions today at Fisher College, wherever that is. Okay, here we go. His name is Charlie DeLoach. I don't want to talk to him.
The Karen Reed trial jury foreman has now revealed his identity, and he wants investigators to find the person responsible for John O'Keefe's death.
Yeah, not only that, he's giving us an in-depth look at what happened behind closed doors. NBC 10's Eli Rosenberg joining us live from the newsroom. Eli, a lot of new information came out of this conversation.
Yeah, it was very informative, JC and Glenn, talking with this jury foreman, including just how intense those deliberations were, what the jury thought about those witnesses, what exactly happened that day in June when a verdict was reached.
During the trial, I just was waiting and just looking for that aha moment, and there was none to make her guilty at all. It was just always like, oh, that witness sucked.
He was juror number 1, Charlie DeLoach, the jury foreman in Karen Reed's second murder trial, giving us our most in-depth look yet inside deliberations in a case that continues to attract worldwide attention.
I was open-minded. I was willing to listen to both sides. If she hit him or if there is corruption, and then the corruption outweighed her hitting him with the car.
What say you? Is the defendant of our guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Reed was found not guilty on
Wait a second. The corruption, what? About her hitting with the car? The captions are so small. I'm sorry. I can't even like move them apparently on their website. The corruption made me think, I got to hear this again.
Listen to both sides. If she hit him or if there is corruption, and then the corruption outweighed her hitting him with the car.
Corruption outweighed her hitting him with the car. Okay.
What say you? Is the defendant of our guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Reed was found not guilty on 2 of 3 charges, including the most serious second-degree murder and the death of her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe. O'Keefe's body was found outside a Canton home in late January 2022. Reed's first murder trial ending in a mistrial. DeLoach addressing students at Fisher College in Boston on Thursday, saying the jury came in with open minds, but struggled with the prosecution's case.
That's a lie. that's a lie. And it was just witness after witness after witness. And the only credible person I could say was probably Mrs. O'Keefe. The case was leaning one way and it kept on leaning one way and up until the very end.
And just a small portion of the conversation earlier today with the foreman, who went on to say he thinks the jury may have actually reached a different verdict on that most serious charge of manslaughter had it been manslaughter and not murder. He adds the jury really hasn't talked much considering everything they went through, though, in those deliberation rooms. They, too, plan to get back together.
That's not what he said. That's not what he said, because we watched exactly that quote in the other piece. And he said some jurors, right? Hold on a second. See, this is why mainstream media is dead, because they misconstrue stuff. That's not what he said. It's so important who you listen to for your news, because we saw the exact quote in the last piece from the other channel. He said Mrs. O'Keefe was the most credible. Hang on.
It was leaning one way and it kept on leaning one way and up until the very end.
And just a small portion of the conversation earlier today with the foreman, who went on to say he thinks the jury may have actually reached a different verdict on that most serious charge of manslaughter had it been manslaughter and not murder. He adds the jury really hasn't talked much considering everything they went through, though, in those deliberation rooms. They, too, plan to get back together soon.
I want to be there for that meeting. I want to see them get back together soon. I want to be there for that meeting. Never what he says. Thanks, Eli Rosenberg. If you do find that on YouTube ever, because that was from their website, Boston 10, make sure you go and tell them your thoughts and nicely in a comment. Maybe. Story changes a little. The story always changes a little depending on who's reporting it, right? Thank you, M. Monge. It's not what he said in his first few interviews. Story changed a little, didn't it? I want to see the full Q&A of Charlie DeLoach at Fisher College. I want to see the full thing uncut. I want it uncut so that we can watch it. If anybody comes across it, please send it to me so that we can watch it together and analyze it. Thank you, Mama She, for your 50 via Cash App. You're amazing. She says, I just think you're amazing. Keep going. No, I think you're amazing. Without you guys, I wouldn't have a channel, because nobody would watch, because you guys are the best. And thank you very much for Gigi buying me 5 matcha lattes. And I appreciate you so much. So much. You're the greatest. Dennis says, Sergeant Good texted Proctor that he's not a cupcake and he can't make everyone happy. At that point, Canton Police knew he was a little fan and suspended him. Oh, Dennis, that's amazing. Thank you for your Venmo. That's crazy. Thank you. That's crazy. And Grayspace says, I have a buddy on Ola. Thank you for sending me this tweet. But again, it's like somebody tweeting that they have a buddy who's on a MSP who told me this and told me that and told me this and told me that this is what they say. And so because I don't want to spread any rumors and speculation, and I need to wait until I have actual receipts on that. But I do appreciate you backing up your comment with the receipt. But the receipt just says, like, I'm a friend of a friend of a friend who told me this and told me that. And that is like textbook hearsay that I will not and cannot in good conscience repeat on here for you guys. But whatever it is that they found on Sergeant Good is egregious enough that they have suspended him for now with pay. But as you know, that is a process. It's a procedure. And there are hoops that need to be jumped through before they can suspend him without pay and or terminate him. There's lots of things and stuff that needs to happen before they can do that. Putting it out there that Mazza is having a fundraiser for Kelsey Fitzsimmons. And I think it is supposed to be this Sunday night. I don't know what time yet that he's doing it. I think it's at 6 p.m. Mazza, if you're in the chat, I'd like to publicize this for you. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it yet. I'm going to try real hard to be there. But Mazza Media will be having a fundraiser for Kelsey Fitzsimmons Sunday. The last I heard, it was at 6. So thank you, Mazza, for doing the Lord's work and raising money for Kelsey Fitzsimmons, because she's going to need it. She's selling her house Hmm. Mavka, where'd you get this? I want to cover this separately. It's the thing on Aaron Spencer. You know, we'll be able to do this, I think, tomorrow. Because tomorrow we're going to watch, the first thing we're going to do in the morning is at 8:45, we're going to convene to watch the competency hearing on Brian Walsh. Thank you, Mavka, for sending me some new documents on Aaron Spencer. I'd like to give that a read before I share it with the class so that I can digest it first. Sometimes it's hard to do a cold read on certain things. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to do that in the morning and we will see. I have heard some rumblings that the Brian Walsh trial may start as early as next week. Let me just show you the receipt on that because I was surprised by that too. Where did I see that? Hold, please. One of the news stations said that. But of course, oh, here it is. Okay, hold on. Oop. This is Boston 10 from, I think, yesterday. Or maybe today. I don't know. The days are blending together, guys. Everything is conflating in my head. Can you blame me? Here we go.
Brian Walsh will be in court this week. We should learn about his competency to stand trial. He's accused of killing his wife. This was in 2023, back on New Year's Day. NBC 10's John Maroney joins us live from Norfolk Superior Court, which is where that trial is set to get underway next week. John?
Colton, that is right, but the judge in the case will first have to rule on his competency to stand trial.
Nothing has changed yet, but it may well change come the Friday competency hearing.
Brian Walsh is expected in court Friday, his first appearance since going to Bridgewater State Hospital for a mental health evaluation after getting stabbed in jail.
I do expect that the case will begin shortly and will move forward, that he is in fact likely competent to stand trial.
Walsh is charged with killing his wife Anna and dismembering her body, which has never been found.
There are elements of the case that are very strong, particularly some of the searches that were done on the iPad in the home. But I think that is going to be the challenge for the prosecutors in this case. How do you prove a case when there is no body?
A Cambridge attorney and victim's advocate, Margot Lindauer, worries Walsh and her children will be forgotten.
There are 3 young children who are still alive and living without their parents right now, and they are also victims in this case.
Right. And where are the children? Carol Erskine was looking into this. Retired Judge Carol Erskine, who wrote a book about Harmony Montgomery's case and the travesties that went on there with DCF and what happened with Harmony Montgomery's issues in the system. And I think she had been talking about this recently with regard to where are these children? Where are the Walsh children? I don't know if she's ever found out, but if anybody wants to know, send me some stuff because we can talk about it tomorrow when we're covering the hearing on competency. They did send a habeas for him, so he is coming. And usually Judge Frenier sat in a different courthouse, but it's scheduled for Norfolk County Court, Norfolk Superior tomorrow at 9 a.m. So we'll be here for it, but let's listen.
Opening statements aren't expected until after Thanksgiving.
Wait, stop. Hold on.
Children who are still alive and living without their parents right now, and they are also victims in this case.
Opening statements aren't expected until after Thanksgiving. Jury selection could start next week.
The court will be careful, select a jury that will look beyond the publicity that the case has generated, and decide the case solely on the merits.
It's not going to be the same media circus as Karen Reed, also because Brian does not have as many attorneys. And
because he doesn't have as many attorneys? Karen Reed didn't have a lot of supporters because she had a lot of attorneys. Karen Reed had a lot of supporters because she was being framed by, some people. And John O'Keefe didn't get hit by a car. And they were bogus charges. Brian Walsh doesn't have a lot of supporters because most people think he's guilty. Right?
On the merits.
It's not going to be the same media circus as Karen Reed, also because Brian does not have as many attorneys. And remember, Karen Reed and her attorneys utilized influencers and content creators on the internet to spread their theory of the case.
Oh, shit. Who is this woman? Who is this woman? I never had any conversations with Karen or her attorneys during the pendency of either trial. Never had any conversation. They didn't use anybody to spread their what the hell did she just say? Hold on a second. Oh no, she didn't. Who is this woman? Wait a second.
As Karen Reed, also because Brian does not have as many attorneys. And remember, Karen Reed and her attorneys utilized influencers and content creators on the internet to spread their theory of the case. And
no, they didn't use us for anything. We got the documents ourselves and we analyzed them and we figured it out on our own. Nobody used us. I never had any communication with any of them. Look at her. How dare you? Wow, that's mainstream media for you, huh? Wow. Really? Is that what you think, girl? Oh, girl, bye. Somebody's like, girl, bye.
he doesn't have that.
He doesn't have that. Who's been sticking up for Brian Walsh's constitutional rights? Me. I've been sticking up for Brian Walsh's constitutional rights. I firmly believe that the Massachusetts State Police went outside the consent agreement to search Brian Walsh's phone, and they did a total phone extraction and the fruits of the poisonous tree and all that. And I have been sticking up for Brian Walsh's constitutional rights. I fully believe that they went way outside the scope, and I think it's going to be overturned on appeal after he gets convicted, probably. But what a dumb, I can't even.
Now, depending on what happens at Friday's competency hearing, jury selection could begin as early as next Tuesday. Well, Ivan Dedham, John Maroney, NBC 10 Boston.
I mean, I don't know how that could happen. He's been in Bridgewater State for a while, right? It was initially supposed to be 20 days. It's been a lot more than that because they pushed it. And now apparently his competency, I guess, he's been evaluated, I believe, by a doctor. And so I guess tomorrow we'll find out. But if he hasn't been able to participate in his own defense, I don't think jury selection is going to start next week. Do you? Mastad? I don't think so. But we'll be here for it tomorrow regardless. And when I hit end on this stream, it's going to teleport you over to the morning. So don't even worry about that. Bye, Felicia. Peacock's Rock became a new member. I thought you did earlier. Am I behind on this? And Most Blessed Gigi says, let's buy tickets to that effing meeting. Thanks, Gigi. I think in song lyrics, Jen says, I love you in the streams. Oh, and I think in song lyrics too. And the one that's going on in my head right now, I don't know. But it's like Groundhog Day. Thank you for the 10. Deanna says, Deanne, Kelsey's Amazon wish list is all sold out. That's amazing. We did the same for Carly Gregg. Carly Gregg's wish list was sold out very quickly. I'm gonna have to follow up on Carly Gregg's appeal. Terry Sue says, thanks for everything you do. No, thank you for watching and for being interested in these cases. Then Carmen Knows Your Address says, Melanie, I fell asleep the other night with you in my earbuds and had the best dream that we were boots on the ground solving crimes together. That's a fun dream. Teamwork makes the dream work. Remember the Wonder Pets? Teamwork, teamwork, everybody, everywhere. Cat Randall says, thank you, Eternally Melanie Little, and all the best. You're amazing. You're amazing. Not only did they do chain of custody, they did lots of things. All right. So hopefully this was enlightening for you. This is a short one. It was only 2 hours. So, sometimes we come on and we just chit chat. And Cardi B comes on and says hello. Yeah. Scott McGinnis says, I think Walsh is guilty, but DA Meatball and his goon squad failed. Well, I'm here for it. Listen, they can't, I want the John Mayer dreams, says Gigi. They can't keep getting away with this. They've been getting away with this for too long. And Proctor's phone is going to expose all of it. And also, Larry Tipton is like a one-man band. He's got to go through all of Proctor's text messages. And he says he's going to call him at trial because the Commonwealth says that they are not going to call him at trial. So stay tuned for the Brian Walsh trial because we are going to cover that one gavel to gavel. It's been a while since we covered a trial gavel to gavel because nothing exciting has happened. And every trial we were going to cover got adjourned. So I don't think this is going to happen next week or after Thanksgiving, but we're going to be here for it. Just like we'll be here for Aaron Spencer, although that's not going to be televised. I may have to go to Arkansas. Okay. All right, my friends. Thank you for coming to hang out with me tonight. It was so much fun being with you. I love every minute that we get to spend together. And thank you to the moderators tonight for being here. And let's go Jets. Okay, stay cool, stay kind, stay classy. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. Oh, Golden Bachelor. Quick, final thoughts on Golden Bachelor. I was happy that Cindy left. I thought that Mel Owens was a jerk. I thought that he couldn't even give her anything. He couldn't even give her a little bit of something to hang on. And Cindy decided to leave. And good on. Oh, wait. I should have said spoiler alert. If you didn't watch the finals Bachelor, Golden Bachelor, then you should stop right now. Smash the like button, stop the stream, and go. That was your fair warning. Peg has way too much energy for Mel. He's like a geezer compared to her. She has way too much energy for him. Remember the dune buggy incident when she was driving the dune buggy and he was like, ah, and he wouldn't touch the stingrays. Okay, I wouldn't touch the stingrays either, but dude, he's a man. Like, really? Cindy would touch, they went swimming with the stingrays or whatever, and Cindy would touch the stingrays and Mel wouldn't touch the stingrays, and then Mel just wouldn't. The fantasy suite never happened for Cindy. It never happened because she decided to leave. Just like Carol decided to leave. Remember Carol? Carol was the Freddie Freeman family manager. And she was like, yeah, I'm out of here because you know what? Freddie Freeman's probably going to go to the World Series and I want to get the hell off this island. And she did. And she did. And she was smart. And I don't think Peg and Mel are going to work out. He didn't propose to her. He just, gave her a promise ring in the end or whatever. But he was not the commitment type. Cindy was too good for him. And Cindy came in. Both of them came in looking great. I thought. Cindy kissed the stingrays even, right? And LawTube's most hated mod says, if my Jets beat the Pats tonight, then the Pats should quit. Louise Young said, Peg will get rid of him sooner rather than later. He's a weasel. Marianne said he's a loser. And Strange Credulity says that her husband will not touch the stingrays. And he was just flat, no emotion. Right. He had no emotion. He had no personality. I don't know. He was just, and remember, he only wanted to date women like under 60. And then the producers in the big FU to Mel cast only women over 60, which was great. Right? He's a geezer. And so, yeah, I'll just go through here for the Golden Bachelor. And the Golden Bachelor, it's the Bachelor for old people. The Bachelor was 67 years old. His name was Mel Owens. He used to play football for, I think, the Rams. And then he became a lawyer. And he was like, thought he was a player. And a lot of these women were very attractive and very accomplished and very nice. And he was not nice to Cindy. He gave her nothing. He wouldn't even say, I see a future with you. Nothing. And so good for her on leaving. And were there any men in the audience last night? I mean, they had the whole audience there. And I don't know why ABC picked Mel Mitchell. They didn't ask me. Mitchell, I would have said they should cast you. She's way too cool for Mel. Oh, she's also way too young at heart. She has a young spirit. I figure I see her dating 40-year-old guys. She's a firefighter. She's a bomb technician. She's a badass. Peg told him they're having a prenup. Oh, that's right. That's right. But do you think she'll leave Vegas to go live with him in Orange County? I don't think so. Yes. Robin says, did anyone see that the first Golden Bachelor wrote a tell-all book dissing Teresa? I feel so bad for her, but she spoke up recently on a podcast to set the record straight about Gary and his temper. And then Gary had the nerve to show up last night in the audience of the Golden Bachelor with his new fiance, with some other woman he showed up with his hair plugs and all on full display. What? That guy, in my opinion. We're talking about the Golden Bachelor, KLB, the Golden Bachelor, the finale. We were robbed. Mel knew from the beginning that the Golden Bachelor was about and pretended he didn't. I think he's an ass. I said that Cindy would be in the final two after the first episode. Remember, I said she was my favorite. She was the first one to come out of the limo. I said that. He wants to be Bill Belichick. Right? He just wanted a playmate, no marriage. Yeah, he's like, I can't. We didn't watch that junk either, but after the first one, jamming along, it was like a train wreck. It was like I couldn't look away. And Mel is boring. So boring. Mitchell's available. Mitchell, maybe you should be the next Golden Bachelor. I'll put a call into casting for you. LL says, I don't see them lasting another month. Well, they ended filming like a couple of months ago. I bet they're not even together right now. I bet you TMZ will have the story tomorrow that they're like not together, that she's dating like some 40-year-old really hot fireman. Just thinking. Alan Jackson is married. You are correct, Barbara. You are correct. Please hit like to to help the video out. Thank you, Scott Messerschmidt, for being here. One of the amazing moderators. And H. Nick says they both should have left. Agreed. They both should have left. You know, it was great. What was great television anyway was when Mel was telling Peg that Cindy left, or he said he had something really important to tell her. And I think Peg thought that he was going to say, I decided I want to be with Cindy. I'm sending you home. Because she looked like she was like, the rug was being pulled out from under her. And then he was like, yeah, Cindy left. And she was like, oh. She's like, oh, so I'm winning by default? Like, it was just so weird. So weird. He's not going to be able to keep up with her. Right? Yeah. A lot of people have been asking me to get into that case, Laura Owens. So I think I'm going to have to do it. There's a woman, her name's Laura Owens, and she has pretended to be pregnant with a lot of men, including a guy Clayton Eckhart, who was on The Bachelor. So I think we're going to have to, there she is, see? Clayton Eckhart is finally getting justice for Laura Owens' BS fake pregnancy scams, federal charges even. Yeah, is that going to trial like beginning of next year, I think? I guess we'll have to cover that one, you guys. Right? It was embarrassing, Andrew. It was so embarrassing. Andrew's 57, and he's like, how can you actually watch this garbage? Listen, it was like a hate watch. There's a lot of people that hate watch me. I get it. It was a hate watch. It was a hate watch because I hated him so much that I had to watch and see who like wound up with him. Because I had a feeling that it was not going to work out, and I think I was right. People our age, he says, that's absolutely embarrassing. Listen, I don't know. Where are you supposed to meet somebody? Andrew, where are you supposed to meet somebody? Church? A book club? Cringe, Hinge, Fumble, Bumble. I don't know where people meet each other. Bars? I don't even know. In the old days, that's where you met people, in a bar. And you met them in person. You didn't have to go on 100 blind dates with people that could be stalkers. And it's crazy. It's crazy out there. It's dangerous out there. Right? And that's it. Her arrest video was wild. You mean Laura Owens' arrest video? Oh my gosh, now I have to get into this. Laura Owens is a fraud. Do it, Melanie. All right, you guys, send me the deets. Send me links to videos to watch. If there's documents, whatever. Send me the stuff. Maybe we could do it. We could do it. All right. That's my opinion on the Golden Bachelor. You can tell me how you feel in the comments. I love you guys with all of my heart. And if I don't see you soon, I'm going to die. But I'm going to see you soon in the morning. And as soon as I hit end on this, all you got to do is going to teleport you over to the other stream for the morning. Hit the go button or the reminder so you come back at 8:45 so that we can watch Brian Walsh's competency hearing with Judge Frenier from Norfolk Superior. All right. Thank you, moderators, for keeping it classy tonight. And Gigi says, I got no quit for true love. I found it. Congratulations, Gigi. We're very happy for you. All right. Peace, everyone. I'll see you in the morning. Good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. You're the best. Love you all.